measuring social impact is always very tricky. Like the data tells you whatever you want it to tell, right? There are things that do not lie. For instance, asking employees how many loans they used to have before Payflow and how many loans they had after Payflow, right? That decreased by 30 to 40%. Asking it in terms of number of loans, but also in terms of value, right? Asking employees how much stress they feel and doing that frequently and measuring that over time and basically linking to the usage that they have about Payflow, right? So basically we use data and we use what employees tells us because this is what we have, but we also use the reality that the companies have, meaning that we look at their rotation because the reality is that if employees feel better, they're going to stay longer in their company, right? So independently of everything, if the rotation decreases, obviously we'll be able to justify our cost to the company, but it's also a matter for us to justify the impact because people want to stay longer, people like their company more, and this is basically has been consequence of our product, right? It's particularly difficult to do that because the data is not easy to access, because companies are launching many initiatives, so it's pretty hard to isolate that this came from exactly the implementation of Payflow. And also it's pretty hard because the rotation is high in companies. That's why we're helping them, because they have high rotation. And the time frame that we're looking at, it's very short in order for us to prove it to the company, right? So we would ideally need maybe 6 months or a year of data to say, hey, your yearly turnover before and after Payflow, but we just don't have a year. We're 4 years old. If we spend 1 year to do an analysis, we'll never be selling, right? Which is what is the challenge of collecting that data. But obviously we do measure this, and for us, this is the main value that we're bringing to employee, and that reduces their financial stress. And when you compare it to any other option they have, it's free and it's instant. So it's obviously great for them, but it does need to lead to a decrease in number of loans and in terms of obviously like how they are financially stressed in their day-to-day.